This is another Marion Cat review from the comfort of my bed. We just finished watching Inferno, and it was a wild ride.
It felt like a convoluted 24, but without the 24 episodes.
That's truly the longest 24 hours of these people's lives. I guess my main thing was I had so much trouble keeping up with like all the different antagonists, and I guess that was like kind of the point, was like the twist of like Felicity Jones and like not being able to work in like how like World Health Organization or like the other group that's like also trying to, and like Felicity Jones are like all work together. But like for the first hour of the movie, like I was so confused, and like I had a vague idea of like all these people are bad and they're after him, but I couldn't tell for like each person like why it was. And then like the twist made it make sense, but like for an hour I was just like scratching my head, like trying to like figure out, like trying to like read a Wikipedia synopsis of like what this movie was to remember like what is going on.
Yeah, maybe I'm just dumb, but their names were all European. I was like, whenever they said their name, it was like a jumble in my ear. Like it wasn't a coherent word. So like they would be talking about a character, but the name was European, so it was just this jumble, and they were all European. They were just all European, so they were all jumbled. So I was like, I'm not following any of this.
We also found a lot of the, like, we were talking about what's, like, the benefit of it being a movie versus a book, because, like, Kat has read the book, and, I feel like one of the main things was, like, at the beginning, like, Tom Hanks, which, now that I think about it, I still don't understand what this was, because if he was injected just to have memory loss, I don't know why he was having these, like, hallucinations of seeing parts of the painting or whatever of Dante's Inferno. And, like, that stuff, I feel like it was just, like, over the top to me. Like,
yeah, and the thing with the faces backwards and the guy who were, like, scenes from Dante's Inferno, but it's not, like, they weren't memories.
Yeah.
But then...
they're just these weird, like, visions. Like,
were they foreshadowing? But the movie's titled Inferno, so, like, why foreshadow?
I feel like a screenwriter was just like, you know, it'd be like really cool if we just like showed the legs, we showed the backwards head, like Tom Hanks sees it all, and they were just like, yeah, cool, and they just like spent so much money on it.
Yeah, but it was just so long. Like the intensity level of the first like 10 minutes was like up here, and then it just like drooped.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, because I think the benefit of the book was that Dan Brown could spend pages talking about religious imagery and history.
Yeah.
But in the movie, like, all they did was, like, have these very, like, quick cuts, like, sharp shots that, like, maybe added drama or, like, added suspense, but I don't think that worked very well.
Yeah, I think it's hard to, like, adapt this, because then I feel like it was just these long scenes of, like, they'd clearly be, like, rushing, people are following them, and then Tom Hanks was like, oh, by the way, Felicity Jones, did you know that Botticelli, like, and it's just, like, you are rushed right now, like, he would just, like, give these little, like, mini lectures on, like, this is not realistic to, like, what else, like, everything else that's happening in this movie, that, like, you guys are, like, being chased by, like, 3 different organizations, we don't even know what, and also, like, I feel like the twist made it make more sense, but I also, not that I saw it coming, but the fact that Felicity Jones is supposed to be, like, a doctor, which, by the way, like, she's so young, I don't understand how she's, like, this hot, young, 25-year-old doctor, but the fact that she's a doctor, and then she also happens to know, like, all this shit about Dante's Inferno.
She's a prodigy, Mary.
I mean, like, she's a prodigy, but it was just, like, oh, we know she's a prodigy because she has a picture frame that says that she's a prodigy, and, like, I don't know, like, I was just like, why would she be interested in all of this? And then once it's like, oh, her boyfriend is the guy who made it all, it made sense, but, like, up until then, it's just, like, why doesn't no one question why this, like, person who's clearly had to devote most of their life to, like, medical school and, like, learning all of this is, like, has this very, very strong niche interest. Like, I feel like she should be a classics major. Like, what is she doing being pre-med, like, when, like, that's all, she seems to have all this knowledge and, like, study all this stuff about it, I guess. Yeah. And also, I didn't feel a lot of the romance between Tom Hanks and the World Health Organization lady.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was unnecessary. They just, like, threw it in. Yeah, they just, like, sprinkled it.
Yeah. And then the Zobrist, Brooks flashback love scenes was...
Yeah, a little much. Like, they don't need to be having sex on screen for that conversation, like...
And I thought that, like, whenever they did a flashback, the color of the screen was so different, and I was like, oh, this is also a little unnecessary.
Yeah, and they had one flashback at the end. They made it like very hazy looking.
Oh yeah, they did.
And like that whole flashback seemed unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't understand the point.
No,
of
the
it.
hazy thing worked. I think when they were trying to show that Tom Hanks' memories
yeah,
were untrustworthy, because he was seeing the French dude, but when it was actually Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
But then I feel like they were using the same hazy coloring for other memories that were also
which
true.
Is fact, yeah.
So I was like, well, you gotta be distinct about which ones are supposed to be untrustworthy and which ones are supposed to be true.
We've also learned that like Tom Hanks should really stick to his like romance movies, his comedies.
Thought his acting wasn't very good in this movie.
It was a little much.
Yeah. Well, we thought it was a little weird. They didn't actually specify what the plague was. They were like, "Oh, this is going to kill everybody."
Yeah, I guess they didn't say how.
And Elizabeth did mention that Zobrist came to her on a meeting about mass sterilization.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing about in the book, like it's revealed that the virus is actually makes people sterile. It doesn't actually kill them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's such a key point.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, it doesn't actually kill people, makes them sterile, which is like adds on to the ambiguity of like what is this action evil or is this action good?
Because I was gonna say like I think they were trying to hype it up for the movie to make it like, oh, this is evil because they're trying to kill all these people, whereas sterilization is just like, I mean, obviously, like, it's more forcing people to, be sterilized.
The question is more complicated, but in the film, they made the black and white more black and white instead of it being a more complicated question than it actually is.
Yeah. Although I think there is some interplay. Like, I think, you know, killing people, it's, like, obviously, like, everyone's like, oh, Felicity Jones is a bad guy, and, like, the guy who created the, what's it called? The...
Zobrist.
Yeah, Zobrist, like, he's a bad guy, obviously, but then it's, like, I don't know, in terms of just, like, thinking now, current day, like, based off, like, climate change reports, I'm also just, like, oh, how ethical is it to bring children into the world that, you know, like, the world is screwed, you know?
I think especially that one scene where Sienna climbs out of the grate and then leaves Tom Hanks behind, like, the way she was, like, the light was behind her, so her face had a lot of shadows, and then the grate was in front of her. So she looked very dark and evil in that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, she was betraying it, but I think it portrayed her whole movement and her whole belief as very evil and dark, and that was just, like, a very oversimplifying the matter.
Yeah, it was very quick.
Over population and, like ethics and stuff, but instead by just using the light and the shadow, like, it just made her look very evil and manic in that moment.
And I feel like she's established as, like, she's, like, this little sidekick. She's a likable character. Like, at one point, we talked about, we weren't even sure if they were trying to, like, show some potential romance between, like, Tom Hanks and Felicity Jones. So, like, for, like, literally in 1 second for it to flip. And it's, like, she was this cool, like, cute little prodigy. She's a doctor. She wants to stay alive. Now she's evil. Like, it's just very, like, a stark, like, I don't know, conversion.
Mm-hmm. And there were so many, like, a lot of the other, like, Sims, I think, is a very ambiguous character. And then, like, I feel like they were trying to make these characters be more, like, of a mystery or a wild card and less completely, like, black or white. Yeah. But then it made Zobrist and Sienna very, like, caged in, like, as evil characters. Yeah. And I think the whole point was to have, like, people with varying interests.
Yeah, and I think, like, at the end, it was, like, they were trying to do more with that. Like, Tom Hanks, like, turns to Elizabeth, and he's just, like, she thought she was doing something good. But it's just this, like, one throwaway line that, like, really does not conflict this matter. Because in our minds, we're all like, oh, she's a terrorist. She's trying to blow this up. It also just bugged me that they didn't evacuate the people, because it didn't make... I just feel like it was just, like, a lazy way of being like, oh no, we won't evacuate, just like for it to look more dramatic because there are all these people around, and to like add the height of like, oh, all these people in the immediate like explosion zone. Like, I don't know.
And it just felt like they spent like 50 hours editing the first 10 minutes and then ran out of steam. So the remaining of the movie, because like they shot like the same moment in like 6 different angles. Like when he was in the hospital room, and they would just like repeat shot. It was just crazy.
The hospital. Like, it took so long. Like it took so long for like the the real action of this movie to start, because they were like, oh, we'll spend all this time with these like weird hallucinations and these flashbacks and it'll be really good, and like I was just kind of bored, like it was just taking too long.
And like I just feel like the director was like, okay, let's talk about the budget. People in medieval crusade costumes killing each other, like $1 billion, and then like
all the money. They like Felicity Jones makeup artist, $10.
Yeah.
Alright, those are thoughts on Inferno.
Thank you for watching.
Subscribe.